Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us to watch and listen to this conversation about coaching. My guest today is Yobdar Bakri, and I'll tell you more about her in a minute. This event is part of the Coaching for International Workers and Organizations that ICF Switzerland, the Coaching Federation in Switzerland, has organized. My name is Saba Imre Mathieu. I'm a leadership and executive coach, and I'm the lead in this project. And it's my greatest joy to be having conversations with several coaches and to be offering all these pro bono activities to international organizations in Geneva and around the world. So let's start with Yobi. Thank you very much for joining us, Yobi. I'm very thrilled to see you and to meet you. We're actually meeting at this occurrence, and it's really wonderful. Yobdar Bakri is based in East Africa, in Kenya. She is a Swiss Ethiopian coach with an international background. She's been in many different places and working very actively now as a coach in Nairobi and elsewhere, I guess, in East Africa. So maybe you'd like to introduce yourself to our audience so they can get a sense of who you are.
Okay, Salva, thank you so much for having me. I have come to coaching after many years of doing many different things. So I studied hospitality in Switzerland, and then my career kind of took me up and down through many different things and many different places between, let's say, Brussels and Florida and Addis, and finally here in Nairobi to my coaching career. Yes, so I would say my background is hospitality. I have worked in fintech and I have done some work with some NGOs and public sector organizations.
Thank you. Thank you for that. So we'll jump right into the topic of today. I'm always delighted to see people emerging in the coaching profession. You've been coaching for a few years, and you also run your own business. So you're very active in the coaching and leadership development field in East Africa. Now, I really want to start by asking you my classical question. Why did you become a coach? How did it all start?
It was really surprising, actually. I never saw it coming. I had been in touch with she was kind of like a startup ecosystem advisor. And at the time I was working with some startups doing communication courses and workshops. We were looking at a mentor matching platform, and I met this lady. And I asked her what she was doing, and she said, well, I'm really so excited that I've just finished my coaching certification. And now I'm going back home to Sweden and I'm going to work as a coach in the middle of nowhere. And I said, oh, that sounds pretty fantastic. And so I asked her more. And also she had written a LinkedIn story about it. And she really inspired me. So I then got in touch with the coaching academy, which is based in Dubai. It's called Coach Transformation Academy. And funnily enough, everything just fell into place for me after that, which was that the job I was in at the time, they had to downsize me because of COVID. I was not able to do my regular day-to-day job, which was travel management. My bosses were all based in one location. They were not traveling. They were barely having meetings. So all of my job, which consisted of executive assistants and travel management, was like, there was nothing to do. So then I came to get a deal with them, and I said, look, guys, I really want to do a coaching certification. Will you keep me on as part-time? And they agreed. And so I did my coaching certification. And it was absolutely the right time for me to do that.
Was it now?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit, what you learned about coaching, and I know you're continuing your interest in various aspects of coaching. But before we go into that, tell me, what did the experience of learning how to become a coach, what did that do for you?
Wow, it really shook my core. Let's put it that way. One, because it was so incredibly unexpected. I did not think that coaching was so powerful. I don't mean to scare anyone, but it was almost like a spiritual experience because it transcended all of my outer shell and my outer identity of who I thought I was and kind of cracked me wide open and said, oh no, this is you now. So it was incredibly eye-opening personally. And then to learn that there is a technique and an actual theoretical way of doing this with other people and helping other people come out of their shell, I was like, oh, this is great. I love this. I love always combining the theory with the practicals.
What did you discover about yourself?
Oh my gosh, it was so incredible. I discovered that, in fact, and this is part of a bigger conversation, Sama, but in fact, I am a construct of this perfectionist global society and always trying to be perfect, always trying to perform to the best, and always feeling that pressure. Even if I had very supportive parents who always said, just do your best, just do your best, they actually meant if you don't do your best, something changes, and I've always felt less than. I've always felt, that I wasn't intelligent enough or not studying the right thing or not doing the right thing. And what coaching taught me was that you are exactly where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to embrace that really helped me to almost start my life over again, like a clean slate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting that you say this because a lot of coaches do that. I love working in this profession. I love working with my colleagues, and having this kind of conversation because people don't become coach, right after high school going to get a BA in coaching. That just doesn't happen. Most people come to coaching after already having embraced a career like you have in so many different areas. People may be in technology, you're in hospitality, others are teachers, others are psychotherapists. Yes. And at some point in their life, they decide, for various reasons that they want to learn how to coach. And when they do, it has really a transformational impact on themselves because you discover yourself, you discover your talents, you start, having a more positive outlook on yourself, being a little more understanding about yourself. And so there's this transformational, personal transformation, but then there's also the capacity, as you said, of being able to support others in their transformational path in a very simple way. Coaching techniques are not, complex and difficult for clients to understand. It's all very natural. So thank you for that. And congratulations on having become a coach. Well done. It was a good choice. Tell me what you learned through your experience of coaching about, you mentioned earlier in a conversation that we had, I learned that I don't need to fix situations, but that people can find their own solutions and that it's a healthy way of relating. Do you think you could develop a little bit this specific aspect of coaching, which is one of our special magic tools?
Absolutely. It is magic. It's funny because it came up in probably our first week during our course where our instructor, he shared a quote with us from Rumi, which says, out beyond ideas of right doing and wrongdoing, there is a field. I will meet you there. Mm-hmm. And what that quote does, it's kind of my North Star for me because it always reaffirms and, how can I say it, strengthens the reason why we bring ourselves and others into this coaching space. And the coaching space is 100% non-judgment. everything about the exchange, whether it's, even through body language that sometimes we have to read virtually, or when we have the pleasure of sitting with a coaching client, we feel the energy and we're listening to them. We're 100% focused on them. And you help them also become their new best friend. To say, I see you and I appreciate you, and I'm here to show you that there's space for all of you, not just the best parts and not just the perfect parts. So it's this element of non-judgment. That's the magic trick of coaching, right? Exactly. And that feeling of, I will give you enough confidence to come to solutions by yourself, to trust yourself to come to the solution. But you have to also be very brave. You have to be willing to, peel back these layers and layers and layers and say, okay, who am I and what do I want and why do I want it? And is it valuable enough for me to go after it?
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that's a way you're really also helping people make choices, because sometimes our clients have goals that they think are important, and through coaching, they might discover that it's not really their goal. It's maybe somebody else's expectation and so on. So through, coaching conversations, they're able to clarify really what they really want and where they are ready to invest energy and commitment.
Yes.
So Yobi, I know that you work with private clients, individuals who come to you to be coached, but you also do interventions in organizations. So why don't you tell me, perhaps you could give me an example of an intervention that included coaching that really worked and was successful, and what were the elements of it? Tell me a little more about that.
Yeah, I'd love to. A few years back, we had a great opportunity to work with an NGO that has offices across East Africa and the Horn of Africa. So very interesting and diverse work that they're doing. And what was happening was that they had just come back from COVID. People were back in the office. But people were not communicating with each other. There was some kind of stagnation there. And so after we had conducted a needs assessment, I immediately told myself, I need a partner coach for this. So I looked in the region to see if there was somebody there, instantly connected, and together we developed a program which we called the 3 C's, which was communication, clarity, and compassion. Because we really felt like these were the 3 skills that we wanted to essentially see the team develop, but also like redefine for themselves to see what do these new values look like in our context. So we did several things. We started with the group coaching on different levels, first leadership, then lower level management. And then we started mixing up the groups and had facilitated conversations around that. And then we followed up with individual coaching. So I would say the whole program took us around 4 months, and we did get good results. People were reporting that they were much happier. They felt much safer. They had the tools needed to actually communicate. They knew what to say. This is something I like doing in my coaching, is just try this sentence, just try it, because that helps us sometimes remove too much thinking and decision making and just say, this works in the moment. So that was a great one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thank you. Thank you for that. I like to hear real examples, real life things, especially for our audience who don't, maybe don't know much about coaching. So I know that, of course, you did your certification at CTA, and you've been continuing to learn about coaching. But there's also another domain that you're interested in, which is exploring leadership in Africa. And so tell me more, what is your line of inquiry there?
Okay. So I read a lot of leadership content that's published around the world. It's mainly coming from the West. I love the McKinsey newsletter and the Harvard Business Review. And what I've been thinking about in the last couple of years, also having worked in corporate organizations, is what's being studied, reflected, and how can I say, published as leadership laws, as the way things work in the West, don't actually work for us here. They're not quite relevant because they discount a lot of the cultural aspects of not only Africa as a whole, but then the national ecosystems on their own, So I do have a plan to do some research in this field and be able to understand from local leaders what does authentic leadership look like to them and what has worked for them and what has not worked. Because I think it's not spoken of enough. And also the research element is missing. We're not facilitating these conversations for these leaders, If a leader is interviewed on TV, he's not asked, what leadership style do you use and how is it going with your 300 team staff? Nobody asked that. So I would be really curious to learn what African leadership and leadership in the African context looks like. And if we can add an element of what it looks like for a woman leader, then that's great.
Well, you're on a very interesting path there, and I really congratulate you for opening this line of thinking, and for taking this journey. And I'm sure you will find very good insights and be able to shape further your programs for leadership in organizations. There's something else that I'd like to ask you. You did mention that coaching opens up a space for people to have a more positive view of themselves, a more empowered view of themselves, so that they can take action in their lives to do whatever it is they want to accomplish. So you really have a strong desire to help people, obviously, like coaches do. But what is your vision, actually, for how coaching can develop in East Africa, starting from Kenya, where you are, but, all around East Africa? How do you see it developing in the future?
Thanks for that question, Saba. This is where I get really excited. A few months ago, I developed a leadership program, which is called The Phenomenal Woman, and it's a 6-module leadership program, which really touches on what I have come to define as the 6 fundamental leadership skills. So there's communication, learning agility, self-awareness, competitive decision-making, resilience, and influence. So I believe this is the magic ticket to becoming a good leader. And what I feel would really make an impact, let's say in the formal work environment, formal sector, is being able to introduce such programs with coaching as the practical support tool to go with the theory at a very early age of any formal employee's career life. So it's not that just when you're mid-level or senior level management that you are granted access to a leadership program. It's happening much earlier. And I think that something that does, it brings the emotional maturity to a professional's work life very early on, so that they understand the value of them as an individual, and then they're able to align themselves with these wonderful corporates that we have in the region. And so that value of and purpose of work and life is always, always aligned with each other.
Okay, that's really wonderful. It's, helping young women leaders, or the young in their career, at least early in their career, to develop their leadership skills, and accompanying that, of course, with individual coaching. It's a great audience, and it's very useful to intervene at that level at an early stage of the career. That's really wonderful. And if you think of the bigger picture when you think of the future of coaching in the region and the role that you want to play? Because you are, strong leadership skills. You're a young leader, you're a business owner, you've taken things in your own hands to develop your career. And so in that capacity, what is your dream for your in the future?
Well, I would really like to create almost like a hub for coaches in the region who are able to showcase their specific areas of expertise, but also highlight, what makes them tick as a coach. There has to be a personal aspect of it as well, so that people looking for a coach have options. And it's not just, oh, I know Yobi, so I'll go get coaching with her. But then it might not be the right match or the right pairing, That's one. I would also really like to create that space so that coaches are talking to each other in the region and saying, oh, what's working for you? What's not working? Where are we going as a profession? To be able to have those conversations that we don't have because there is no formal structure for that. There's no space for that. And thirdly, I had written down something earlier. Yes, so definitely our platform would be AI enabled, so that it's almost like a matching app, mentor matching, coaching matching, so that you can go in, do a quick search. What are you looking for? What field do you work in? Because I think that really helps to be able to kind of identify with someone's present day experience from the same field will help, that's the long-term plan.
This is a long-term plan. So you want to create a hub, and this hub is helping different communities. One is the clients themselves, where they can easily find a coach through an AI-assisted really nice website that is easy to navigate and so on. So that's really great. It also shows that you're, following the times, you're a young person using technology. And so making it easy for clients to find us coaches. But there's also another aspect of creating this hub is to, of course, you'll have all these coaches that join, and you want to create a space for the coaches to have the possibility of exchanging and sharing experiences, kind of like maybe a peer coaching experience or whatever shape it might take. And so that's really good. It's wonderful. And I'll join if I can when you've created this.
That would be amazing.
So tell me, Yobi, this amazing vision of, getting clients and coaches together through a website driven by AI, having a space for the coaches to exchange. This is a marvelous vision, and I really hope that you achieve it soon because I want to join. And when it really begs the question, why are you doing this? Why is this important?
Yeah, well, coaching really taught me that as loud as the global noise is on what we should be doing and, how to deal with failure and all these very loud conversations, I learned that my experience was valuable. And I don't think there are enough people in this, at this point in time in our human evolution, who feel like they are where they're supposed to be. It's that field again, it's that non-judgmental field of just being where you are without feeling I should be there. Because that sort of thinking will never allow for any kind of development. You're just a hamster on a wheel, and you're not listening to what you really want. You're not paying attention to the people around you. You're not bringing your best self out. And what coaching really does, it actually, I feel like it presses pause on your life and says, hold on, What is it exactly that we're dealing with? But more importantly, where do we want to be dealing with our life? So it's very important to deal with the current situation and the current problems, but be able to bring people and allow them the space and the mental space to reconnect with what it is they think their destiny and their life is all about. So that's why, yeah.
So that the opportunity that you want to offer to as many people as possible.
Yes.
Yeah. That's wonderful. It's a wonderful vision. And I wish you all the best, and I'll follow you to see how things are going.
Yeah.
So do you have a last word before I wrap up this conversation?
Yeah. Yes, I think that we need, as a coaching community, we should be more verbal about what coaching is providing in terms of also mental health solutions that trickle down now and spread out to the family unit and obviously the career development that a person wants to pursue and the direction they want to take. But also just redefining themselves as an individual and then seeing how that individual can bring the most impact in their, in their communities and in their life. I think it's important to keep reiterating that and saying you are valuable, but you need to put yourself first,
Thank you. You're very inspiring and energizing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Yobi. So far, viewers, I'm sure you enjoyed this conversation. I'm sure many of you are inspired to become a coach and create your own business as a coach. And if that is your calling, I certainly encourage you to take steps in this direction. Watch on our other conversations. You'll hear other coaches also and their journey to coaching. And you'll also get a lot of insights on, different coaching approaches that work. So I hope you continue enjoy watching us. Just to remind you, this is an interview that has been done in the framework of the International Coaching Week. It's organized by the International Coaching Federation Swiss chapter. And I'm leading the project, and I'm honored and delighted to welcome wonderful people like you, Yobi. And so see you soon. Yeah. And we'll catch you on the same channel. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye, Saba.